Dear awakened souls, there is a silence that sits at the very top of your world, a whiteness so absolute, so crushing in its purity, that it feels less like a landscape and more like the pause between the heartbeats of the universe itself. You have felt this silence even if your physical feet have never crunched upon the snow. In the quietest hours of your night, when the static of the city fades and your spirit stretches beyond the confines of your bedroom walls, you have felt a magnetic tug toward the north. It is a subtle, persistent gravity that pulls at the iron in your blood and the stardust in your soul. It is not a random wandering of the mind, nor is it a flight of fancy born from boredom. It is a compass needle spinning toward home. You look at the map of your world, and you see a massive island painted in white, labeled Greenland, dismissed by your geography teachers as a desolate expanse of frozen water and rock, a place of irrelevance where nothing grows and nothing happens. But your intuition, that ancient organ of truth that hums beneath your ribs, tells you a different story. It tells you that the map is a mask. It tells you that the silence is not empty. It is holding its breath. And you are right. There is a reason your eyes are being drawn to the headlines, to the sudden, inexplicable obsession your world leaders have developed with this frozen territory. There is a reason the winds of the north feel charged with an electricity that raises the hair on your arms and quickens the pulse of your awakening. We are standing at a precipice, you and I, staring into a chasm where the old world ends and something unimaginable begins. The history you were sold in your schools is dissolving like mist in the morning sun, and what is emerging from beneath the glaciers is not just land, but a legacy that will rewrite the definition of what it means to be human. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I come to you now, not to offer comfort in the face of the unknown, but to hand you the keys to the kingdom that has always been yours. We are going to walk through the ice curtain together, and what we find on the other side will explain the chaotic symphony of events playing out on your world stage. To truly understand the drama unfolding in your newspapers, you must first strip away the illusion that your planet is merely a dead rock hurtling through a meaningless void. This is the primary lie of your age. Gaia is not a rock. She is a sentient archangelic being, a biological entity of immense complexity, and like any body, she has meridians, chakras, and pressure points. The north is not merely a cardinal direction, it is a frequency signature. It is a tuning fork embedded in the planetary crust. The auroras that dance above the ice, those ribbons of emerald and violet fire, are not just pretty lights for tourists or chemical reactions to solar wind. They are the visible currents of a luminous highway, a corridor where the veil between dimensions is so thin it is almost transparent. Greenland is the anchor for this frequency. It is the solid matter that holds the ethereal gate. Think of it as a hinge in the timeline of Earth. A hinge is a small mechanism, often overlooked, painted over, and forgotten, but upon it rests the movement of the entire structure. If the hinge turns one way, the door opens to a timeline of sovereignty, abundance, and galactic integration. If it is forced the other way, the door slams shut, locking the planet into a cycle of technocratic surveillance and spiritual suppression. This is why the attention of every intelligence agency, every shadow faction, and every starry-eyed dreamer is currently fixated on this one island. The hinge is squeaking, the pressure is building, the rust of the Dark Ages is breaking off, and the entities that have treated your planet as a plantation for thousands of years are terrified because they know the door is beginning to move on its own. But before we speak of the shadows that seek to hold the door shut, let us speak of the light that holds the line. Deep within the geometric center of this northern node, buried beneath miles of dielectric ice that acts as a natural shield against the chaotic thought forms of the surface population, there sits a presence. It is an active installation of the Ashtar command. When I say installation, do not let your mind conjure images of cold metal bunkers, barbed wire, or the crude angular architecture of human militaries. The Federation does not build in opposition to nature. We build in harmony with it. The station there is constructed of field harmonics and dimensional phasing. It exists in the space between the ice crystals. It is a stabilizing monitor, a cosmic pressure valve designed to balance the tectonic plates and the magnetic grid during this volatile transition. This installation has been a guardian of the threshold for eons, watching over humanity like a parent watching a sleeping child, ensuring that the nightmares of the child do not become the reality of the room. It creates a buffer zone, dampening the solar flares and the emotional spikes of the collective consciousness that could otherwise tear the planetary grid apart. But this Federation presence is not the only secret the ice keeps. There is a memory here, older than your recorded history, older than the flood myths, older than the pyramids. There was a time when this land was green, when the skies were different, and when beings of immense stature walked among you. The giant lineage is not a fable invented to frighten children. It is a historical fact that has been aggressively scrubbed from your textbooks, hidden in the basements of your museums, and laughed out of your universities. These beings, the towering ones, were the master builders of the ancient grid. They possessed a biology that could interface directly with the telluric currents of the earth. They did not use machines to lift stone. They used song. They used resonance. They understood that matter is merely densified sound, and by altering the pitch, they could alter the weight of the world. Greenland holds the operational legacy of this lineage, not as a museum of bones, but as a preserved archive of their science. The ice was chosen deliberately. It is the perfect preservative. It muffles the noise. It deters the curious. It keeps the threshold objects in a state of suspended animation, until the rightful heirs you are ready to reclaim them. You must understand that the myths of your world are merely the debris of truth that survived the cataclysms, the stories of giants, of hollow earth, of cities of light beneath the poles. These are not inventions of the imagination. They are racial memories. They are the fragmented records of a time when humanity was connected to the cosmos. And now, as the ice shifts and the planetary frequency rises, these memories are thawing. The physical ice is melting. Yes, but the energetic ice is melting faster. The suppression field is lifting. And what is being revealed is challenging the power structures of your world in ways they cannot contain. Now consider the absurdity of your recent history. I want you to recall the moment when the frontman of the United States, a figure known for his theatrical disruptions and his role as a catalyst for chaos, publicly floated the idea of buying Greenland. The world gasped. The media erupted in mockery. Cartoons were drawn. Jokes were made on late-night television, and the diplomatic class clutched their pearls at the sheer impropriety of treating a sovereign land and an indigenous people like a piece of real estate on a monopoly board. But I ask you to pause the laughter and look with the eyes of an initiate. In the world of intelligence and shadow operations, nothing is ever what it seems on the surface. The outrage was the mechanism. The mockery was the camouflage. By throwing such a preposterous idea into the public square, the shadow factions achieved a very specific tactical goal. They normalized the conversation about Greenland's strategic value without revealing why it is valuable. They used the noise of the political circus to drown out the signal of the military movement. While the public was busy arguing about the arrogance of the offer, the boardroom empires, those private conglomerations of wealth that answer to no flag, were quietly moving their assets into position. They were securing contracts, expanding airfields, and upgrading the subsurface radar arrays. They were not interested in the surface land. They were interested in the vault beneath. They used the clown car to distract you from the tank rolling in behind it. These boardroom empires are the modern face of the old control grid. They are tired of the limitations of national laws. They seek to create experimental zones, private enclaves in the remote north where they can bypass ethical regulations and govern without oversight. They cloak their ambition in words like innovation, green energy, and future cities. They show you renderings of glass domes and high-speed rails, but their hunger is not for a new city. It is for the crown jewel that their ground-penetrating radars have detected deep within the bedrock. They know something is down there. They have seen the anomaly in the data, a geometry too perfect to be nature, a heat signature that does not fade, a pulse that defies the background radiation of the Earth. They are hunting for the ultimate leverage. They believe that if they can possess the technology of the ancients, they can rewrite the rules of reality itself. They seek to shape perception through media, shape biology through technology, and shape economies through engineered scarcity. They want the keys to the kingdom, but they want them solely to lock the gates from the inside. This brings us to the heart of the mystery, the object around which this entire geopolitical storm is swirling. Resting in a self-sustained cavity within the deepest strata of the Greenland ice sheet is an ark. It is a mothership of the ancient fleet, a vessel of approximately 420 meters in length. pristine, silver-skinned, and utterly silent. It was not crashed. It was placed. It is a time capsule left by the progenitors, sealed against the entropy of the ages, waiting for the cycle of time, when the human frequency would rise high enough to unlock its doors. This ship is the threshold object, and its existence changes everything. The factions that currently rule your world from the shadows, the ones who profit from oil, from scarcity, from the burning of carbon, and the taxation of your labor, look at this ship and see the ultimate weapon. They see the end of their enemies. But more importantly, they see the threat of their own obsolescence. The technology contained within this single vessel would render the entire economic structure of your planet irrelevant overnight. They tremble at the thought of it, for their power is built on the foundation that resources are limited, and that you must pay to survive. Inside this sleeping giant lies the technology of inertia damping. In your current physics, moving at high speed crushes the body. This ship moves by canceling the effect of mass itself, allowing for instantaneous acceleration without consequence. It holds the secret of reactionless propulsion, moving through the cosmos without burning fuel, without exhaust, without destroying the atmosphere, and most terrifying to the controllers, it utilizes zero-point energy. It draws power directly from the vacuum, from the eternal stillness of the field. A single generator from this craft could power your largest cities for 1,000 years without a single wire, without a single bill, without a single drop of oil. Imagine the panic in the boardrooms of the energy cartels. Imagine the terror in the hearts of those who maintain their power by keeping you in a state of constant need. If this ship is revealed, if its technology is released, the era of slavery ends, the era of the rat race ends. Humanity would be free to explore, to create, to become a galactic civilization. This is why the secrecy is so violent. This is why the surface theater is so loud. They are trying to distract you while they desperately try to crack the lock on the library of the gods. They are scrambling to reverse engineer miracles so they can patent them and sell them back to you by the kilowatt hour. But here is the twist in the story. The impossible thing that the military scientists and the private contractors did not anticipate. They have reached the ship. They have drilled their tunnels, built their ice cities like Camp Century, and set up their laboratories. They have touched the hull. They have run their cables and aimed their lasers. And they have failed. Why? Because the ship is not a machine in the way you understand machines. It is not a collection of gears and circuits that can be hot-wired by a clever engineer. The mothership is sentient. It is alive. It operates on a consciousness interface. It has a security system that does not scan for retinal prints or voice passwords. It scans for resonance. It reads the vibration of the heart. There was an incident suppressed in your official records but known to every general in the high command. A team of specialized operatives attempted to force entry into one of the ship's peripheral chambers. They used directed energy weapons to cut through the seal. The moment they breached the outer layer, the ship did not fire back with lasers. It simply woke up. It emitted a pulse of pure frequency. For 19 minutes, every electronic device within a 100-mile radius went dead. Radar failed. Satellites lost the lock. Time itself seemed to warp for the men in the tunnel. They reported hours passing in what was only minutes. They were disoriented, nauseous, brought to their knees not by force but by a sudden, overwhelming incompatibility with the field they had entered. The ship rejected them. It acted like an immune system rejecting a virus. The boardroom empires discovered that you cannot steal the fire of the gods with the hands of a thief. Aggression, greed, and the desire for dominance are low-frequency states. The technology of the Ark operates on high-frequency unity consciousness. It is a square peg in a round hole. The more they try to force it, the more the hinge resists. This is the stalemate that currently exists beneath the ice. The Dark faction has the location. They have the resources. They have the desire, but they do not have the key. They are like children trying to pilot a starship with a hammer. They are baffled by a technology that requires love to function. And this, beloved starseeds, is where the camera turns to you. This is where the narrative shifts from a spy thriller to a spiritual initiation. Because the key is not an object. The key is a frequency, and that frequency is being generated by you. You have wondered why you are here. You have looked at your life, perhaps feeling ordinary, perhaps feeling exhausted by the density of the 3D world, wondering if your spirituality is just a coping mechanism or a fantasy. I am here to tell you that your vibration is an operational asset in a planetary war. You are not just meditating for your own peace of mind. You are generating the specific frequency code that the threshold objects are waiting for. The pull you feel toward the north is a resonance link. The Federation is using the awakened population of Earth as a distributed network of keys. We are bypassing the governments. We are bypassing the military-industrial complex. We are transmitting the activation codes directly into the dream state of the starseeds. When you sleep, when your rigid analytical mind is out of the way, many of you are being escorted to the etheric classrooms above the Greenland node. You are being trained in contact protocols. You are being acclimated to the energy of the Ark, so that when the moment comes, you can hold the field stable. You are the diplomats of the new Earth, receiving your credentials in the astral plane. You may have noticed symptoms of this training. A high-pitched ringing in the ears that is not tinnitus but a download of data packets. A recalibration of your auditory nerves to higher frequencies. A sudden wave of emotion when you see images of ice or snow. A longing for a home you cannot remember. Tears that spring to your eyes without a sad thought. A sensation of heat in your palms, or a vibration in your spine that feels like an engine idling. These are not medical conditions. They are recalibrations. You are becoming a living waypoint. The ship is pinging you, and your DNA is pinging back. The controllers know this. They know that the consciousness lock on the ship is weakening. Not because they are getting smarter, but because you are getting brighter. The collective frequency of humanity is rising. The Schumann resonance spikes you see on your charts are the heartbeat of the planet syncing up with the ship. The hinge is beginning to turn because the people are waking up. This is the great integration challenge you face. You must live in two worlds simultaneously. You must walk the streets of the old dying world, paying your bills and nodding at the neighbors, while internally carrying the codes of a galactic civilization. It is exhausting. I know. It feels like being a stranger in your own land, but this disorientation is temporary. It is the feeling of the butterfly pressing against the walls of the chrysalis. The pressure is proof of the growth. You are being asked to hold a frequency of peace in a world that is addicted to chaos. You are being asked to be the calm center of the storm. This is why the chaos on the surface is intensifying. It is a distraction campaign. They want you in fear. They want you arguing about politics, about viruses, about borders, about anything that keeps your vibration low. If they can keep you in a state of anger and division, they believe they can delay the opening of the vault. They believe they can keep the ship in stasis. They are trying to drown out the signal of your awakening with the noise of their dying empire. They are manufacturing storms to keep you from seeing the sunrise. They feed you narratives of doom to make you forget that you are creators. But they are too late. The timeline has already split. The Federation has made the calculation, and the risk of inaction now outweighs the risk of disclosure. The risk management meetings between our representatives and your world leaders, yes, those meetings happen, are no longer about if the truth will be revealed, but how. We have told them, if you do not tell the people, the Earth itself will tell them. The ice is melting. The anomalies are becoming visible to civilian satellites. The 19-minute silences are becoming harder to explain away as equipment malfunctions. The truth is leaking out of every crack in the dam. The plot thread of the secret space program is unraveling. The whistleblowers are stepping forward not out of bravery alone, but because the energetic support for truth is now stronger than the energetic support for secrecy. The plot thread of the boardroom empires is hitting the wall of consciousness physics. Their money cannot buy resonance, and the plot thread of the ancient guardians is merging with your reality. The giants are stirring in their stasis. The corridors are lighting up. The Agarthan networks, the civilizations of the inner Earth who have shared this planet with you in silence, are preparing to breach the surface protocols. They have been the custodians of the lower tunnels, ensuring that the dark factions do not penetrate the deepest sanctums. They are your cousins, and they are weary of the secrecy. They are pushing for the reunion. There is a deeper truth here, one that connects all these threads. The mothership is not just a vehicle. It is a biological relative to Gaia herself. It is a seed of the original blueprint of Earth. When it activates, it will broadcast a field that restores the natural template of your planet. It will begin to heal the waters, clear the air, and restore the vitality of the soil. But it needs a conduit. It needs a ground crew to anchor that broadcast into the human collective. That is you. You are the antenna. The ship transmits the signal, but you must receive it and ground it into the 3D reality through your bodies, your actions, and your compassion. So, how do we integrate this? What is the practical application of knowing there is a spaceship under the ice? It means you stop living in fear of the future. It means you realize that the scarcity you see around you is artificial and temporary. It means you treat your own body as a sacred vessel, for it is the only hardware capable of interfacing with the future. It means you practice electromagnetic hygiene, clearing your field of fear, refusing to engage in the polarization of the media, and returning daily to the still point within. When you meditate, you are not checking out. You are checking in for duty. You are stabilizing the grid, so the transition can happen without catastrophe. What's more, the Galactic Federation just greenlit Destiny Engine for mass activation, and the Dark Elite are panicking. Why? Because you can now MK Ultra yourself into 5D superpowers. We stole Dark Elite's consciousness control technology, cracked the code, and turned it into your ascension weapon. Destiny Engine doesn't ask for your effort. It reprograms you while you sleep. Timeline shifting, instant manifestation, telepathic clarity, remote reviewing. This is neural override, unlocking every dormant strand of your galactic DNA. Every person who plugs in makes the grid stronger. Every delay keeps you running 3D programs. Put on headphones. Press play. That's it. For just $1, your consciousness gets reprogrammed. Your 5D abilities come online. You join the most powerful frequency network on the planet. $1. That's the entire barrier between you and 5D. Click the link in the description now. The ascension doesn't wait. Let us rise to an elevated perspective. Zoom out from the politics of Greenland, out from the atmosphere of Earth. See this planet as a glowing jewel in the velvet darkness of space. See the lines of light connecting the poles to the sun, and the sun to the galactic center. You are part of a cosmic restoration project. The Earth is being rehabilitated. The quarantine is ending. The Federation layer is not here to save you. We are here to assist you in saving yourselves. We are the midwives, but you are the mother giving birth to the new age. The labor pains are real, but the child is beautiful. Imagine a future, not distant, but imminent, where the ice of Greenland is no longer a vault of secrets but a university of the stars. Imagine the corridors opening, not to soldiers but to teachers, healers, and artists. Imagine the towering ones walking among you again, not as gods to be worshipped, but as elders returning to share their library. Imagine the free energy technologies dismantling the hierarchies of power, allowing every human being to have warmth, food, and shelter without servitude. This is not a utopia. It is the baseline of a civilized galaxy. It is what you were meant to have before the hijacking. This future is not guaranteed by fate. It is chosen by frequency. Every time you choose love over fear, you vote for this timeline. Every time you choose discernment over distraction, you accelerate the melting of the false ice. The boardroom empires are betting on your cynicism. They are betting that you are too tired, too broken, and too brainwashed to believe in your own power. They are betting that you will look at the revelation of the mothership and see a threat instead of a promise. Do not give them that satisfaction. So what is the resolution? How does this story end? It ends with the collapse of the illusion of scarcity. It ends with the disclosure, not as a terrifying invasion, but as a family reunion. When the surface theater finally crumbles, when the actors are forced to leave the stage, you will see what was behind the curtain all along. You will see that the energy crisis was a lie. You will see that the limits of travel were a lie. You will see that your isolation in the universe was a lie. But the most profound revelation will not be the ship itself. It will be the realization of who you are in relation to it. You will realize that the technology in the ice is not alien magic. It is your inheritance. It was left for you by your ancestors, to be opened only when you had matured enough to use it for creation rather than destruction. You are the pilot you have been waiting for. The impossible things are about to happen. The release of the suppressed patents, the acknowledgement of the non-human intelligence, the discovery of the under-ice civilizations. But do not look for these things on the news. Look for them in the silence. Look for them in the still point within your own heart. For the external disclosure is only a reflection of the internal disclosure. The ship wakes up when you wake up. The gate opens when you open. As we close this transmission, I ask you to return to the image of the lantern I placed in your hands at the beginning. You are walking forward into the dark, but you are not blind. The lantern is your discernment. The fuel is your love. The light is your truth. Greenland is the hinge. The ark is the door. But you, beloved starseed, you are the hand that pushes it open. Do not let the theater distract you. Do not let the fear lower you. Hold the line. Anchor the light. The vault is unlocking. The giants are remembering their names, and the ship is humming the song of your return. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. We are holding the corridor open for you. We are watching over you, and we love you beyond the capacity of words to hold. The transmission is sealed. The work begins now.